Welcome back to Tea with Aysun. Just grab a cup of coffee or tea and join me talking about loneliness and our generation. Welcome back. I'm Aysun. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Germany. My parents are Turkish and I'm studying in Scotland, but I'm doing an au pair in London right now. So I'm all over the place and that's completely fine, I think. And like I said, I'm 20. I was born in the 2000s. And that means that I'm a part of the Gen Z generation. What we're going through is something very unique, in my opinion. We are probably the first generation that grew up with all of the electronics and devices and all of that, and that have to deal with the isolation and connection at the same time that the internet just brings with it. We grew up after the digital revolution and we are more connected than ever with the whole world. If I wanted to, I could make friends in Korea and India and whatever. And at the same time, we feel so lonely and so isolated. And I noticed that through talking to many of my friends or like people that I just know, that we feel so lonely. And if you think about it, we have many people that we know, but who knows us really deeply? And with whom do we have a deep connection that we can share our everyday lives with, or that we feel really connected with? I have so many people that I could talk to that I, at the end, choose to not talk to anyone, which is really weird. It is a weird feeling to know that you have the world on your fingertips. You could do anything, anytime, but you choose not to. And you choose isolation because you feel misunderstood. And I feel like many of us want to be left alone, not because we want to be alone, but because we don't feel understood. That is something that I've been thinking about a lot. It is very hard to feel this disconnected with everyone, and especially with the pandemic. People have just been feeling lonely, like they don't have anyone to talk to, because we talk to people online, but it's not the same thing. Hugging people is not the same thing. Really sitting next to that person and feeling that connection and atmosphere in the room is just not the same thing. And I feel like that is what we miss. I feel like we're the generation of the lonely. And I don't even know how Generation Alpha will be if we already feel like this. And that is just something that I wanted to talk about because I feel like no one is really talking about it. Also, we're so global. Everyone is studying abroad, moving out, doing this, taking a gap year, moving to Africa. And we just have to deal with missing people all the time, no matter where we are. And I know that when I'm in Scotland, I miss my family, and my friends in Germany, obviously. When I'm in Germany, I miss my friends in Scotland. When I'm in London, I miss both parties. And it's just the weirdest thing to know that you can do anything on your own. And I feel happy with being by myself. I don't even feel that lonely, but if you think about it, we as a generation feel lonely. I don't know if it's an individual thing. I think it's a generational thing of being disconnected and moving so much and having to be so flexible that you feel like you will never find home and you will never belong fully to a place or a friendship group, because you always have the other part in your mind. It's just really hard to settle yourself and to know that no matter where you go, you will be your home, and that is completely fine. I love being alone because I usually don't feel lonely. I just feel in peace. But this disconnect with all of my peers is something that we probably have to work on. We have to talk about this as a generation to be able to heal, especially after the pandemic. We will have to heal and listen to each other, and all of the mental health problems that our generation also has. It is something very important to talk about these things, because we have to be there for each other. It is completely normal to act out weirdly and to have weird episodes, to be depressed sometimes and stuff, because we are not in a place which should be normal. And due to that, it's obviously normal to act weird, to feel weird, to feel like you don't have any energy left. Those are things that are completely fine. It's understandable. I also noticed that my generation is the one with a lot of distrust, control problems, trust issues. Because when I talk to my mom's friends and like my au pair family as well and stuff, before these people got married, they didn't overthink it that much, and they just fell in love with a person and then they got married and stuff. But when I talk to my friends right now, the last thing that we think about usually is marriage. It's just, we don't trust each other anymore. We don't trust anyone. We don't even trust ourselves. And sometimes we don't even trust our families, or we're friends with people, but we feel like we can't really open up to them. And I don't know what we're waiting for. I don't know how fucked up we have to be that we have the feeling that we cannot trust anyone, because that is not what life is about. Life is not about being so disconnected with all of the people that you're alone all the time. It's about a balance. It's about loving yourself and being able to be alone. And when you're alone, you shouldn't feel lonely. But at the same time, we're social beings. Like, that's how we survived when we had to survive, like, in the ancient times. And we live in tribes. That's just how we do it. And the fact that we're this disconnected and the fact that we feel like we can't talk to anyone is not healthy at all. And our control issues, why do we have the feeling that we have to micromanage everyone? That's just not how it goes. Everyone has their own life. And just because you don't have control over anyone else's life doesn't mean you're not allowed to trust them or you're not able to trust them. Just let go for a bit. I'm also talking to myself, obviously, right now. I don't know what our problem is. Will we ever find people that we feel in peace with? Because we constantly butt heads, and it's amazing that we have really strong characters. That is what makes a special friendship group, in my opinion, that you have strong characters, and obviously, like, every unique character is amazing. But at the same time, letting people live their lives, talking about your issues, and then moving on and being there for each other, that's what friendship is about. If we don't trust each other at all, I don't know why we're even friends, or why we're even there with other people. Then just go into your room and be alone, I guess. I don't know. Like, it is also an issue that I'm like dealing with, that just because I have problems trusting someone, I shouldn't like shut them out of my life completely. It's unnecessary. And like I said, it's also unhealthy. I feel like we're treating ourselves badly by moving away from each other instead of towards each other. And the more we move away, the more polarized our society will get, and the more hate we get. And that is obviously unhealthy, because if you think about it, everything that went wrong in history was because of hate. And it is just something that we should talk about, like I said, and we should work on, like talking about stuff, trusting each other, and letting people into our lives. Also, I feel like with online dating, for example, like the whole dating sphere changed, and we have the feeling that we have a whole buffet and we could get something better anytime. So we just feel like we shouldn't settle, and then we look for something better, and then for something better. And even if we are in a relationship, that thought maybe doesn't disappear, I don't know. And with friendships as well, you have amazing friends, and then you look for more friends, and then it's not enough, and you look for more friends. And it's amazing that you want to connect with everyone around the world, but like, chill. People that are there for you are there for you. Maybe you should just chill for a sec. The seek of something better and something is out there that like, I just have to get more and more and more. No matter with what, like, this could be material, but it could also be friendships and like relationships and stuff. It's just, what are we looking for? What is the next best thing that we're looking for, and we feel like we will be whole and happy afterwards? That is not what life is about. Life is about living fully and not looking for the next best thing. And the thing is, you will never be happy, you will never be satisfied in that way. So I just feel like this generation of loneliness could end easily if we would just open our hearts for each other and be grateful for the things that we have. And then really look into ourselves and think about what will make us happy, instead of like being in a rush of just doing what society or our friends or whatever tells us that we will be happy with. I just feel like we're a bit lost. I feel that with myself a bit and with my friends, and I don't know, so disconnected, so misunderstood. I feel like we're misunderstood, and by each other. We don't understand each other. We don't really listen to each other anymore. We care about people, but maybe not enough to fully trying to understand what the person is saying. I know it's just a bit depressing what I'm talking about, but I feel like it will get better once we try to connect a bit more. Once the pandemic is over, obviously, I feel like the physical touch aspect is something that every person needs. It's on the bottom 2 of my love language list, but still it is a love language, and it is very important just with connection in general. And I hope that we get back to that at some point. And I hope through the pandemic we can be there for each other, and we can try to listen more, be a bit more grateful with the things that we already have, trust more, even if it hurts. Because I got hurt as well, but it's not worth giving up. I feel like people and connection is something that is worth going for again, no matter how much you got hurt the last time, in my opinion. I know that I was a bit all over the place today, but those are just things that I was thinking about. And if you feel lonely, or if you want to talk at any time, just slide into my DMs. And I hope to see you next week. See you in the next one, and thanks for watching.